One question, he says. What's your question?
So we were dealing with Cindy in the Bronx, and Cindy agreed to the proper rate of rent. However, she said, "I'm not giving you 15 years." She said, "I'm only giving you 5." My question is, if we retool a store twice on a 15-year term, can we sign like an 8-year lease and retool it once?
No, it's not. Look, first of all, a lot of what I say, they're not lies, they're not fibs. It's just telling this stupid landlord, ignorant landlord, what they need to hear. They don't know better. They have no idea how laundromats work. They think they know everything about leases. They might, but they don't know anything about laundromats. So that being said, they think they're an expert. We let them think that. But I tell them, hey, it takes a year in order to get our new equipment in, right? That's not necessarily the case every time. And we could go into some detail. A lot of times, because you're a first-time buyer of equipment, many times the distributor will put you to the head of the line. That's happening. It's happening quite a bit. That should make sense to you. So you'll get your equipment in a month because it's on a slow boat from China for someone who actually ordered it, but they'll say, hey, I want to make Tony happy and give him this equipment. I also say, hey, okay, that's an argument, isn't it? And don't ever forget that negotiating is an argument. You don't want to be my wife. So when it comes to the time that we need in the lease, in order to retool every 7 plus 7 is 14, we do 15. You can limp the equipment along in a laundromat for 20 years. But the preponderance of that equipment lasting that long is because what? It's not being used. Do you want a laundromat where the equipment isn't being used? No, you're not going to make any money. I told the guy the other day, he said, well, this is a really good deal. I think I'm going to buy the laundromat. Okay, I'll listen. Why? Because the equipment that's in there is almost new. Okay? The price is only $800,000 because of the equipment is only a few years old. I have to listen to this. And I said, all right, let me give you a scenario. You've got $1 million worth of brand new equipment. It's only 2 years old, and they only want $500,000. What should you pay for the store? He's like, well, it sounds like a good deal. Okay, the laundromat's on the moon. And I'm not being ridiculous. If that store, for whatever outward reasons, isn't earning profit, you don't want it. A laundromat on the moon, you might get the occasional cosmonaut stopping by, but you don't have any consumer base. You don't want it. You're saying that she said she only wants to give you a 5-year lease. You're so desperate to own a laundromat that you want to reinvent the wheel and maybe do 8-year equipment, and then it's not worth the trouble, the effort, the hassle to do only. It has to be at least one retool during your tenure, if that makes sense. So I don't know if that store is in front of us for calls or not, but I can't talk them into that. All I do is talk to them about the way laundromats work, the way that we are a better laundromat operator than they are a landlord, and explain to them in no uncertain terms, this is why. Now, don't forget, it changes. I made a call an hour or so ago where the first time I talked to this woman, she screamed and cursed at me and told me that I didn't know anything. And now she's totally changed her tone because she wants someone to lease that space. That happens every time. So I don't recall the conversation, but I'm certain that what I would have done is explain, well, we're a laundromat, so we can't do that. If it requires a follow-up, put it in the notes and we'll do that.
Great.
I hope so.
All right, so page number 2. We're in Connecticut. We've been speaking to Frank several times. Frank agreed to $12.50 a square foot plus $7.50 cans on a 15-year lease. Last time we spoke to Frank was about a month and a half ago, and the problem was he said 6 months abatement. It's not going to happen. It's not doing it. He agreed 2 years ago to 3 months of abatement. So we're somewhere between 3 months and 6 months.
Well, don't forget, when you found me, you likely never even heard of free rent. Most people don't. Landlords all know about it. I don't care if it's Walmart or some landlord that owns 4 million square feet in town or a mom and pop. They all know about free rent. Sometimes when I say the word abatement, they freak out. They light themselves on fire and jump out the nearest window. They don't know what abatement is, but they know free rent exists. They know all about it. They might pretend they don't, but they do. Now, we see how time is always on our side. We went from 3 months to 6. So where are we at now? And you'll also notice as the year changes, it's late November. People know that. A lot of these knuckleheads aren't even answering their telephones today. Oh, I deserve a week off. I'm going to eat turkey. Tryptophan it up. As we get closer to the new year, more and more, I mean, the deals are rampant. I'm doing 3 leases a day because it's ingrained in our mind. We have to change. We have to stop smoking, lose weight, get a new lease. Trust me, these horrible, old, nasty laundromats are a thorn in the side of these landlords. So it's timing isn't really the preponderance of the issue for us, but it does certainly help. So I've got Frank's number. You want to bet 20 he doesn't answer?
Yeah.
Was that a yes?
No, I think he's going to answer.
Okay, well, let's bet.
No.
You suck. All right. Frank is the man. We talked to him a lot. What am I saying here? Come on, dude. Let's get this done.
All right, rent abatement. That's the last step. We're somewhere between 3 and 5 months. So I put a note. If Frank ate his Wheaties this morning, he'll probably settle on 4.
Well, you just told me that he said 6 months. Oh, he said it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Okay. Well, first thing I would do is ignore the guy. I think that's, again, time is always on our side. But you're the boss. Sure. Let's call him up. Here we go.
Good.
Subscribe to the channel, you louts. Don't miss these lives. Do it. $20. He didn't shake on it. Come on, Frank.
You reached 258. 9. Your name, number, and a brief message, and we'll return the call as soon as possible.
The mailbox is full and cannot accept any messages at this time. Goodbye.
All right. Even when we're learning a lot of nothing, we're learning something. Frank, come on, dude. I listen to my messages 4 times a day, minimum. Oh, he's calling back. All right, here we go. Stay there. Frank, what's happening?
Hello?
You didn't save my number?
Hello?
Hi.
Yeah, my name is Frank. I missed your call. I'm calling you back.
Hi, Frank. Danny D'Angelo, the laundromat guy. I thought you saved my number. My feelings are hurt.
In business, you cannot have feelings.
Thank you. I'll take that to heart. Can you save?
Listen, this business is business. It's okay when you see somebody in a bar or a restaurant to buy a drink. That's wonderful. But in business, you got to be pretty strictly. That's the way it is. What can I do for you?
The only thing I was referring to, Frank, is that we've talked on several occasions over the last 8 months or so, and okay. I want to lease the space from you here, the laundromat space. We've been going back and forth. We sent you a letter of intent, and my partner and I were hoping that the first of the year we might be able to do something here.
Well, put your best foot forward. That's all I could say to you.
We
put it off in writing.
We did that. Okay. We did that. You didn't get it? Maybe I have your email address wrong.
What's the email you sent it to?
I have Frank.
Frank at
Yep, that's where we sent it.
All right. I
So
didn't get it yet.
here's
So
the
send
point,
it.
Frank. You want us to put it in writing. We've had conversations many times. We have the lease rate is hammered out. We offered $12. We
No.
offered $10 and $12 a square foot. You said yes. Your cams are $750. You said you can do $1250. We need at least a 15-year term because we're going to spend the money on equipment. We want to retool this place.
I understand. I understand.
Okay.
Listen, I got that, but I think you want 3-4 months free time.
Frank, you do remember me. It's heartwarming.
Yeah, of course I do.
Of course.
So if I start to do that, I have a problem with the rest of the tenants. This guy got a break. He just walk in. How come I don't get the break?
Well,
That's the
you
way it
know,
goes.
you sound like you might be my senior, but I'd have to advise you on that, Frank. You know, it has nothing to do with the other tenants. I can sign I can put an addendum in the lease that I won't discuss at threat of torture what we are doing with our lease. That's our business. And let me say this, your other tenants have nothing to do with a laundromat because I have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on equipment and I can't get that equipment in a timely manner. I don't know if you've tried to buy a new car or a washing machine for your house, but I'm buying industrial equipment and it's going to take me, it's
No, I don't buy nothing. I don't buy nothing for my house or for my business. I find everything on that corner.
You make someone a lovely wife someday.
No, I don't want no wife. You're better off without wife.
So I think this is where we were the last time at an impasse where months and months go by. What I want to do is create yet another very successful laundromat and give you appropriate and commensurate rent. The most important thing is that rent. Look, you said yes to 3 months already. Why don't we do 6?
Listen, I have other people to answer to. You put them in writing and I show the rest of the people and go from there.
You got
That's
it.
all I could say.
I appreciate your
I
style.
cannot say any more than that.
Io capisco molto bene Italiano. I'll send you a thing. Happy Thanksgiving. You'll see it in...
Bravo.
Okay. Addio. Ciao.
Addio. Ciao.
What a character that guy is.
Yeah.
I take a wild guess that he might be Italian.
Possibly, yeah.
He doesn't know who I am. He doesn't remember me.
Oh,
And
he
then
remembers you.
all of a sudden, he knows. So look, he didn't slam the phone down and say no to 6 months. As long as I've been doing this, time is always on our side. Always. I like Frank. You know, maybe it's racism. This is the kind of guy that I sit around with at the holidays at the table, and we eat prosciutto, and we laugh, and we drink, and he's my people. But also very hard, thick-headed people to deal with, right? That's why I'm good at this. Put the LOI together. I'm going to send it to you. Have you done a letter of intent yet?
This is the first.
Okay. Congratulations.
Thank you.
A letter of intent is not a lease. It's not a legal and binding document. Your phone sucks. It's feeding back every word I say.
I'm sorry. Hold on.
Oh, were you able to fix it somehow? That would be spectacular.
Let's see.
Take your headset off. Anywho, all of the instruction is laid out. It couldn't be simpler. I know you're a smart guy, but I'm going to send you my form LOI. It's not a form letter. It's nothing that this landlord has certainly ever seen. But now, in the notes, we have offered 6 months of free rent, and he didn't say no. So now we're going to play one more little game and put 7 months in there. Because
okay.
Why not? You have to have room to wiggle, right? I don't believe in all the old standards about It's a win-win. There's no such thing. No one necessarily has to be downtrodden, drugged through the streets by a wire, but there's no win-win. We are the ones that are going to win. So let me email you the LOI. It comes with tons of instruction. There's literally little red lines that you need to remove. Make it his with his email address, the best you can do for his physical address, for the location, and everything else.
Great.
It is great. We have another one here in Plainfield.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
The laundromat's open. It was on sale on Craigslist for sale. It was $300,000. Now it's $250,000. And in the bio of the Craigslist ad, it says looking for a better proposal. 24 washers, 30 pockets of tumblers. I tried a few different phone numbers. I found one that does work. It comes back to Vishal, and he's a CPA. I called him last week, and he didn't pick up my phone, but he did return call saying that it was him. So we're going to give him a call, see if he answers.
And I have the same number from you. And I also left a message at this number, correct?
I believe so. I think you called back after and left one, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, note taking is important. We have to put the names on here because if you're outside my purview doing any work, just note who it is. If you worked at a newspaper trying to sell the Washington Post, they'd fire you because the next guy that sits in your cubicle needs to know what work you did. All right, here we go. The accountant who also owns a Mexican restaurant and the laundromat is operating, and the hook is they just dropped the price by $50,000. Congratulations. Off we go. Stand by. Did you subscribe yet? You. Do it.
Your call has been forwarded to
How
an
lovely.
automatic voice message. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Vishal, Danny D'Angelo, I left a message last
if you are
week.
satisfied with your
Oh,
message,
I'm very
press
satisfied.
1 to listen
What
to
a
your
great message.
Press 2 to erase and re-record. Press 3 to continue recording. Message erased. At the tone, please re-record your message. At the end of your message, press 1.
This is my life. Vishal, Danny D'Angelo, call me. Myself. That's my wireless day or night. We're looking at commercial space. I'm not a salesman. I'm not a broker. I need some spot for my business. Of course, we leave generic voicemails other than the proper contact number. Make a note of it. I'm so excited that you're sending a letter of intent right now that I can't even think straight. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
All right.
Until
Don't
next time.
look. I've said this famously many times. I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm not here to talk anybody into anything. I know I do motivate people. I'm not a counselor. I'm not here to talk to you about feelings, etc. But I end up doing that a lot. A letter of intent is not a legal and binding document. It is just exactly what it says. It states your intention. Oh God, it's Vishal calling back. We're so lucky. It's a twofer.
Holy crap.
This is Danny. Oh, hey, I just called you. Hello? Vishal. Okay, and then he hung up. He's a good guy. He's good at working the phones. Let's try him again. I need a switchboard. Who wants to come work for me? $11 a week.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message.
Okay, the history of the world, part 7. Left him a message. He called back. I spoke words. He hung up the phone, and now here we are. And then I called him back, so put that in the notes.
All right.
Anyway, I was saying, I'll give you the time it takes to explain this. A letter, right. Are you married, Tony?
Thank God, no.
All right. What do you envision the scariest part of potential nuptials are? Is it, well, I can't give you any hints. What's the scariest part? I'm not talking sexual stuff about the wedding night.
Geez, I really don't know, Danny.
Okay. People are, they freak out. The sister-in-law is in charge of the wedding. The money's being spent. The dad's biting his nails. All the things are happening on the wedding day.
Putting the house in her name. How's that?
There you go. You're talking about monetary influence. But now here's my point. You're not married when the judge says, or in my case, I married my friends in Kauai. I said, I'm not going unless I get to perform the ceremony because it was on my bucket list. So they let me do it. It was fun. Brothers and sisters, that's how I started. We laughed and laughed. The ceremony is not a marriage. It's the courthouse steps where you're actually married. When you go in and you sign a piece of paper and it costs $7, that's the wedding. That's the marriage, I should say, not the ceremony. But that's not scary. You're relaxed. You're wearing flip-flops, right? Then there's the wedding. Maybe $50,000 is spent. Maybe it's a keg like I did in my store when I let 2 of my attendants get married. That's not the scary part. The scary part is walking down that gravel driveway and asking the most beautiful, amazing woman in the world's dad if you can have her hand in marriage, right? The betrothal is about to happen. And the reality is you better do it. If that man's alive, whether he acts like he cares or not, you had better go ask for his hand. You'd better go state your intentions. That's what this LOI is. So oddly, it's scary. It gets your heart all aflutter because even though dad kind of gets a kick out of you, there was that cat that you killed last week accidentally, whatever your case is, and you're never funny at the dinner table. But when you're making that long walk down that gravel driveway to ask the man, there's no bended knee, there's no ring. I intend to make an honest woman of your daughter for the next 100 years. Please, sir, may I have her hand in marriage? Okay? Scary, right? There's no legality to it. It's not a wedding. It's not the piece of paper at the justice of peace. It's none of that. But it's the scariest part. So the LOI is nothing legal. It's nothing binding. But it does show Frank, hey, put it in writing. It shows him that we're serious. Everything else has been hammered out. You're welcome. Happy Turkey Day.
All right.
The other kid.
All right, Thanksgiving.
I don't know what's going on with him. All right, dude. Later.
Bye.
Appreciate all of you. The comment sections, Jonathan says, first time catching the negotiations live, finally. Well, Jonathan, you're a perfect example. Subscribe to the channel and then go to YouTube and say, I would like notifications turned on. Then every time I go live, you get a notification. Amazing. You can even set it up on your phone so it gives you a ding. And if you're not at work running the crane, Fred Flintstone and you will get a notification. Smoke check 7. The wife comment was pretty good. I don't even remember what I said. Life of Ice. What's the minimum of rent abatement you should be willing to accept in negotiation? Well, this is a telling thing, isn't it? I've had as many as 18 months. But more importantly, what we've been asking for recently is an open-ended free rent period. Imagine that. That's always better for you. What does that mean? Not when we get the equipment installed, because that's not why we need free rent. We need free rent to bring the consumers back that have already left because the place was nasty, filthy, disgusting, horrific. And that's the argument. So when a guy like Frank, absolutely not. We're not done with this lease. It hasn't even been drafted yet. There's always room until you sign. This is the long walk down the gravel driveway. We have open-ended possibilities to change everything. And part of that is going from a year free rent to 6 months, which is what 7 months we're going to offer. And that'll probably piss him off a little bit. He heard my name's Danny D'Angelo, but when I speak Italian, it changes things a little bit. It shouldn't, but it does. When you're of that ilk, it makes sense to you. The minimum, had you ever heard of free rent till you heard of me? Most small business owners have no idea that there's any such thing that exists. Thanks, Danny. Enjoy your candor. Thank you. I know nothing but candorousness. Hope you have a good weekend with your family. Same with you and yours. This is what I do. People despise public speaking, negotiating. I enjoy both. Really, truly do, or I wouldn't do it. If you're new to the channel, thank you. Welcome aboard. I'm glad you're here. I hope you're enjoying it. My social media, King of Laundry everywhere. Instagram, TikTok, for God's sake, I'm on there. Shorter form, fun videos. And here, this is where the work gets done. Long form, 30 minutes at a time. If you're interested in owning a small business and changing your life, I've got Laundromats for you. That's all I have. I don't have a plan B. Are you really good at making empanadas because your Grammy taught you how to do it? I don't know if you should do that. I know nothing about that. Previously, I said I don't know anything about restaurants other than their profit margins are tiny. I have this. I have a real, succinct plan for you, and it's coin laundromats. Anybody can look back and say, well, I bought this watch and it's worth double, and I purchased gold at $411 an ounce. Sign me up. I'll take a truckload. But I'm telling you that I never knew that I would be able to make calls all over the world and negotiate leases for people, but it works. This morning, I wasn't recording. Got a landlord in Connecticut who said, oh, I know you. I looked at my email has my YouTube channel on it. So when I email these folks, if they care to, they can look and see. I'm not afraid they're going to figure out who I am, because the mentality is, oh, he's got some landlord screaming at him. That guy's a moron. That ain't me. That's the way a landlord thinks. That's what you would think. And they do. That's happened a handful of times to me, and they appreciate it. They're like, oh, man, the guy's voice was cracking a little. He was kind of nervous that he was on the phone with me. I was like, I'm not recording. He said, oh, okay. Let's make a deal. What is this? How do you explain this around the Thanksgiving table? What is free laundromat? Don't buy a laundromat. 3 sentences, right? Scout existing stores because there's nasty laundromats everywhere. Scoop up the infrastructure for free, the gas, water, electric, by signing a lease, period, run-on sentence. Retool the store using other people's money. All of this shizzy is in my course. All of this is in my course. I put a new button on. So, oh, I'm having fun. That's all that matters. There's an entire industry surrounding coin laundromats. I'm just a small voice in all of it, but probably the most real voice. I appreciate you guys. I've got tons of calls to make. We'll probably go live a few more times today. So subscribe and thumbs up and make a comment. Jonathan says he's been subscribed. Notifications are on. Just a busy man. Oh, well, look at you. Later.